Hello everyone, my name is McKenna Boykin and this is my service learning final project submission. So for those of you who do not know, I chose to do my volunteer hours at the Johnson City Housing Authority. There my supervisor was Miss Vivian Clayman and my duties included packing boxes, storing boxes, lots of lifting, and delivering food and canvassing to residents. Service participation. So, initially in September, when I began my service, I was just tasked with being in the food pantry all the time, and there I would unbox shipments, store it, and just prepare for the next volunteer to come in and do their tasks as well. But as that changed, my roles and tasks really diversified throughout the course of my time at the Johnson City Housing Authority. I didn't feel resolved to just performing in the pantry because there was so much other stuff to do and tasks that Miss Vivian needed to be done, and I wasn't gonna say no. I participated in everything that she wanted to get completed. So I eventually did deliveries, and I of course bagged at different places other than the pantry. And yeah, my different roles at the Johnson City Housing Authority helping the residents made me increasingly grateful for my own capabilities, especially because the Johnson City Housing Authority has a lot of disabled residents, whether that be mentally and physically. So I just felt like I can use my abilities to really help them here. I shouldn't feel resolved to just be in the pantry when there's things that I can do to help outside of it. So that's really how my service participation evolved physically. Why I chose the Johnson City Housing Authority food pantry to complete my service hours is a very easy choice. It was a very easy choice for me because the food pantry ties closely into my future career path that I want to take in public health. Public health ties very closely to food insecurities, and being food vulnerable impacts vulnerable populations. For example, children and the elderly, which mostly encompasses the, I would say, helpless population more so under the housing authority, because kids and elderly people, they cannot make a real income and they rely heavily on their protection and resources to come from others. So I felt like this was a great place for me to get involvement in all aspects of health promotion, which is the definition of public health. Undernourished kids have poorer cognitive abilities and social skills, but a nourished child will often have the ability to perform better in school. And we know education opens many doors for people, so food ties into so much with how you will have the ability to thrive and such. Public health focuses on the overall promotion of health, and in the US, that is the number one crisis that public health people and facilities and community workers are looking to solve, because it's very tied into the poverty issues that are in the US. Food insecurities is a big public health crisis because it heightens the burden of chronic disease and illness and the impact it has on mental health as well. By choosing the Johnson City Housing Authority food pantry, I could be involved in a leg of the government help system that does this directly through food. There's a progression from what I aim to do coming in when I first started completing my hours to what I aim to do at the end of my service. At first, I wanted to accomplish just filling up as many boxes as possible in the pantry by the end of my shift. But as the weeks progressed and I really wanted to move from just upping my numbers to expanding my service outside the pantry. I talked about this on the second slide, but at the Johnson City Housing Authority, I learned that the pantry is just one piece, and it's really a catalyst for various other local services to get involved and to make it successful. Like, there was volunteers from local churches and high school students and other college students and organizations that would help out. Like, it just really showed how community was really, really needed to make it, the food pantry, one moving piece. I wanted to include this graph from the social change chapter because it perfectly demonstrates like how each factor goes to another and feeds into the overall like purpose to like create change. And definitely the food pantry is an agent of change, and I've seen all of these like factor bubbles in action at my hours and time at the Johnson City Housing Authority. Okay. For citizenship, I definitely feel like there was like a shared responsibility in like getting everything in order. So an example of that, like the citizenship factor, is the church members and the high school volunteers and the organizations from the school, other organizations from the school. They really, really, really like exhibit citizenship. Like, they take accountability for the people and in the area. Individual values, we definitely did a lot of reflection in class, and I greatly appreciate like every time we would have to like talk about our service, because it gave me a better understanding of what other people were going through, and like it gave me like a space to like articulate like how the service is affecting me and how I feel like I'm like making change. I wish we did more like self-reflection in class. For group values, I really just see like collaboration is everything. Like, people, citizens, members that live in Johnson City, they take accountability and they're like collaborating, you know? Like, they see a need that needs to be met, so they go where the need they can help, which is the Johnson City Housing Authority. They volunteer, they offer their time, resources, and just abilities to create change. So I really had to include this graph because I feel like it just embodies like it really embodies social change and its factors and progression. These keywords and definitions and how it ties into community service and just how to service learn the right way, this was when we were going through chapter 2. Reflection to me is like, after doing community service, you're looking back and actually considering the intentionalities of the act. Like, I thought critically on why these were issues that the people at the Johnson City Housing Authority were facing, who could solve these issues much easily than I, and like what I could actually do to help and assist. So it essentially like builds appreciation for like what you've already done and what can be done. Like, Evaluation to me is another way to like build appreciation in a way, because you're evaluating needs and then the circumstances to better prepare community workers and volunteers to better meet the needs of the community. Because you're evaluating, like you see a need and you're like, okay, boom. Development is like creating a plan and like new resources to really attack a problem in a community. So development could build connections, social awareness, and make better skills, just like practice better skills to help a community. Diversity, this one ties a lot closer to me particularly, I feel, because I was in the main minority, like helping out there. Diversity ensures programs and services are accessible and have a variety of different people helping out. So having varying people in the community fosters acceptance, social cohesion, and empathy for different people. I believe my identity as a young Black woman, definitely, I had an advantage volunteering at the Johnson City Housing Authority. Yes, I got some looks that it was unexpected that I was helping, but all the residents were really kind to me and just very grateful to have me helping out. And coming from a middle-class Black community, this was definitely a different experience, but I feel like me being in that space was definitely needed. And serving at the Johnson City Housing Authority exposed me to a lot of new things surrounding the culture of Johnson City. And diversity just ensures there's a variety of different contributions and they're being made. Meaningful service to me is just acts that are actually needed, because we evaluated and like reflected on our service and we developed, and all those other factors definitely just make service much more meaningful. You know what you need to do, so you get it done basically. So meaningful service to me is just filling a need of the community, like an actual need. And food insecurities and poverty is definitely an issue in Johnson City, but just the U.S. in general. So there was a need and contributions were made to get meaningful service done. Generational poverty is hard to remove oneself and family from. It is a cycle that is increasingly difficult to get away from the longer you're in it. The Johnson City Housing Authority is housing for low-income people. The pantry it offers nutrition to families under the authority. The supplemental food is one less thing a family needs to worry about. It frees up purchasing freedom and just a little bit of relief and stuff to their residents. So the needs for affordable housing and the food resources was acknowledged and met by the Johnson City Housing Authority. The needs of the community are determined by its members. This is what the quote I really wanted to tie into my explanation of generational poverty and its impact on the residents and the importance of the food pantry there. It has been a truly transformative experience volunteering with the Johnson City Housing Authority. During my service hours at the Johnson City Housing Authority has fostered a sense of community and like a newfound like purpose through community service in me. Through my volunteer hours at the pantry, I have applied lessons from class to my actual in-person service. Being a part of the immediate impact on the residents has deepened my gratitude for my own circumstances, and I feel like I developed a layered compassion for impoverished people. Before I started my service, I would just have like a one-dimensional sympathy for people facing poverty and food insecurities. But following that, like, I really feel like I was exposed to actual solutions and just like action and doing. So I think I just have genuine compassion for those people now. And my encounters with the people have definitely changed my emotions regarding feeling helpless to feeling like purposeful and able. Simultaneously, the teamwork between the volunteers and the employees at the Johnson City Housing Authority strengthened my dedication to the shared cause. A food pantry is not just a one layered, one place, one service thing. It connects people and is an even stronger factor in fighting poverty than it may seem. Following this experience, I feel better prepared to potentially build a nonprofit or service event from the ground up myself.